Let's look at this bridge. There is a surprise. That Firefly surprised us. I was shocked. And during all the videos of working on this guitar, I didn't pay attention to it, but then I saw it. Y'all can post at the bottom before I say anything if you see what I found. Go ahead, start posting, because it was just revealed to you. This is the stock Firefly bridge. I'll flip it again here. Okay, what did I find? Look right there. This has the Floyd Rose stamping on this block. It makes me wonder that maybe they just sourced this one block and it was cheaper than having another block made, because if we look, there's no other markings on the base plates. And I have looked for any other markings that may say Floyd Rose on it, and I haven't seen them. Now, we did add shims under here, and I lifted these up, but I didn't really pay attention to the bottom. So we're going to disassemble this bridge a little further and see if we find anything else. So the first thing we need to do is to loosen these guys. So let's loosen them up. Let's flip the bridge over, get our little locking nuts out, make sure they're all out. We're going to put those in a container so we don't lose them. Now, let's start taking out the saddles. I want to say that's a 2.5 millimeter. And that's what it is. Let's move our first saddle. This would be our high E saddle. Put that back in there. And this one is marked with a 1. And from what I've seen with Floyd Rose, these numbers really don't correspond. 1 doesn't mean that it's the smallest or the biggest or anything else. So we're going to put that over here, and I'm going to keep these oriented to where I have an idea of where the shims go. Anytime you make a change, it's never going to go back, you know, exactly the same. We may end up modifying some of these. We have it apart, so let's continue disassembling here. I have to use the tool on that one. And this one has shims under it. Looks like we have 2, 3 shims. Wow. To get that right. When I see that, it makes me wonder that at the factory, did they put the right saddles in the right spots? This one is marked right here with a number 2. Let's put this piece in it. And I'm going to lay it over there with the shims in front of it and the saddle in the next spot. Go to the next one. This we used 3 shims as well. Put the shims over in front of that saddle. Let's see what this one's marked. This one is marked with a 3. And we'll gauge these. Let's see if there's a difference. Oh, we got to put the piece back in it. Set it over there. Go to our next saddle. Push it forward, grab the shims. 2 shims. I couldn't remember. This saddle also has a 3 written on it right there. So I'm going to put that over there in the next sequence. Okay, my apologies. I'm here by myself today, so had to go out and meet someone. They just hollered down for me. This saddle here, I don't know where we left off. We found 2 shims, and the bottom saddle was marked with a 3. So let's go to our next saddle. We're going to take this side out first on this one. One shim. And this saddle is marked with a 2. And our last saddle, our low E saddle. And I don't believe we put a shim in the low E saddle. We'll soon find out, won't we? Nope, no shim in the low E saddle. There's our low E, and that one is marked with a 1. Okay, let's take this apart now. There's a 3mm. We're gonna, this was edited out in one of the 4 mod videos. We're gonna take some alcohol, clean this out. And when we put this back together, we're going to put some blue Loctite on that so that stays secure. The tremolo turns and tightens off of this. This just holds this base plate, this base housing for the arm, tight to the base plate. I'm going to keep that. And these screws here, again, we have screws. Notice that I can put these in with these because these other ones are for the locking nuts at the top. They are a different size. If you get the exact same thread pitch and diameter, I would put them in different cups, maybe label the cups with some tape. But I've done so many of these, it's kind of redundant for me at this point. We're going to remove the fine tuners. And it looks like right here they have taken something and hit the threads. And some companies will do that so you can't back the tuner all the way out. That one's catching as well. That might be something that we have to clean up. They are disengaging. Like I said, some companies do it so you can't back the screw all the way out. So let's just back them out for right now. We're just disassembling. Okay. So now I need to check these. These do not look like Japanese industry standard. The way the chamfer looks in there, it looks a little different. So I'm going to grab a standard. It looks like, kind of looks like a number 3. Let's see which tool best fits that. Here's our number 3. Let's see if a number 3 is. It is not a number 3, so it is a number 2. Let's see what number 2 is. Here's our number 2. Let's check how that one fits. It's pretty decent. Here's my number 1 JIS. That's loose. Let's try our number 2 JIS. This is our standard American one. The JIS fits better, number 2 JIS. So we're going to stick with the JIS. And then keep track of how they've oriented the parts. They have, this feels like it is metal. It's a little shim. And here's our Floyd Rose part. It says 34 millimeter, and it is marked Floyd Rose. Here's our retainer. Keeps the pressure on the back for the fine tuners. And there is some sharp edges on this. We can go back, since we have it apart, and clean this part up. I don't know if you all can see that or not. But it is definitely, it hasn't had any cleanup done to it. And it could be one of those things where whoever the manufacturer doing the parts for the Floyd Rose, this is stamped, no cleanup, and then maybe Firefly buys it. Okay, yeah, it's a second, and we don't need any cleanup. So the part's a little cheaper. They get it. You know, they don't care that it hasn't been relieved around the edges. So that could be where they're saving a little money as well. And that could be something with this as well. Maybe Floyd Rose has a standard where this has to weigh X or has to mic out at something, and this didn't quite meet Floyd Rose's specs. It's already cast. It's a second. Firefly comes around, well, we just need blocks. Okay, well, we've got these that, you know, are seconds. We'll sell them to you cheap. So that could be what's going on here. I do not have a Floyd Rose special to compare it to. And let's look underneath, and we're looking for any markings that would say Floyd Rose on this. And I'm not seeing it. Okay, there's a good look at the base plate. But that's what we found. Is this a Floyd Rose second? I don't know. Okay, now comes the discussion part. Is this a Floyd Rose bridge? I was upstairs editing this video, And the more I thought about it, the more I started leaning towards it probably is. It's probably a Floyd Rose that didn't quite meet their specifications, and it's a second. And I am seeing something. When you're doing the video, it's very hard to always remember what to say and always have the right answer at that particular time when the video is running. And I just happen to look over and I see something in these saddles that is different. This saddle here was our high E, and it has a 1 on it. That's not what I'm seeing that's different. Here's our B saddle, and it has a 1 on it as well. But that's not what I'm seeing. Flip it over. Look right there. This is 2 different components. If you flip it over, it's opposite. So it's not like it's a left-right orientation. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. And they're both #1 saddles. So if these were made in the same casting, they would have the exact same pin. And the pin is different on both of these #1 saddles. I am going to say that this is factory seconds. That's what the comment section's about. Are these being shipped with Floyd Rose tremolos that didn't quite meet their specification, and the original manufacturer, vendor for Floyd Rose, is selling off these seconds to other companies, and they're using them, but they're not allowed to call them Floyd Roses? Remember, there's no stamping on this plate. Now, I know most say Floyd Rose Special, you know, they'll say, you know, original Floyd Rose, or just Floyd Rose, or Charvel Floyd Rose. This says nothing. So let's get a conversation going. What do you guys think? Is this a Floyd Rose, or is it a Floyd Rose factory second, or did they just put a Floyd Rose block in it? Anyway, if you like this kind of content, please let me know. Any suggestions that you guys can make, it's completely welcome. Let's talk about this. What do you guys think? Is it a Floyd Rose? And if you would, hit that little bell, hit the subscribe button, and thank you very much. And have a good day.